And we are back with semifinals. Low ink, top cut. Are you ready?
You know, after that first match, I'm ready. I don't know what to expect anymore. You know, I was like, oh, it's the first round of top cut. Scallop Scrubs are gonna easily 3-0 this, and then K Pro is dead was like, nah, fam, we here to play.
They were here to play and they're here to stay and they have made it. So good for them on that.
So Froggy, who are we seeing in this first semi-final match?
Um, who we seeing?
Yeah, who are we watching?
That is a good question.
Oh.
We are watching Karakuri versus Inception. I just was afraid to say it wrong, so I had to look again.
Same. So I wanted you to pronounce it first, just so I wouldn't say something totally
Of
different.
course you did. Thanks for filling me in. We're on here with Clams on Shalendorf Institute, which is my personal favorite map and mode, probably.
Yeah, we were talking about this earlier of how both of us like Schellendorf, but a lot of people are just like, Schellendorf is stinky. I think Schellendorf is a good map for every map and mode, every mode.
I think that's coming from us because we're a bunch of like frontline, midline players though. At the same time, we're not the backlines who have to deal with the charger constantly. So I mean,
I know. I always tell people, it's like I could never be a charger or a backline in general because I die too much. But we see two heavy remixes coming out from both teams. What do you make of this, Frog?
I think it's just what the meta on Schallendorf is at this point.
But
Go ahead.
something that we see as well is a Kensa Jr. We were talking about those bubbles, and they're bringing another great bubble weapon here.
Definitely. Kensa Jr. is one of the most powerful bubble weapons because you do not need I don't think you need Object Shredder, right? For the quick pop?
I think Torpedo pops it really quickly, but I think
Yeah.
Object Shredder is definitely just necessary when you're using bubbles in general.
Yeah, probably.
But we see Karakuri here pushing it to 68, which I think is a decent push, but we can see a team pushing it a lot deeper in the numbers.
Definitely. They're still scoring. They're keeping it out here.
Yeah, definitely. Keep the pressure on, keep their basket open, and they can't break out into mid, which I think is really good. Because if they keep scoring, then you're gonna keep making sure everyone is out of range of your clan basket, which means that
Slosher here, applying immediate pressure as soon as they got out. They were just on it.
yeah, I think they were trying to get a quick jump here, but I don't think that they can score the power from there anyway. So unfortunately, you see two down, and we'll see.
Pressuring.
We'll see what Katakuri can make of this. Immediately scoring. They just look like they're putting on a ton of pressure here. Just making sure the enemy team constantly knows that they're scoring in their clan basket, so they can't do anything else. I think that's the great way to play Clan Blitz. Just keep the pressure on.
This is definitely a map where if you can just apply constant pressure, it's almost impossible for the enemy team to win. This is definitely an aggressively favoring map. And you see both comps here, both very aggressive. We have two splatter shots on each side, two juniors on each side. We have a slosher and ends up getting two remixes.
Definitely. We'll see what Inception can do here. See if they can put this next power climb in. But unfortunately, they are only able to push it to 74, just missing that power climb. And unfortunately, the basket hasn't dropped yet for them to put it back in. But Katakuri here definitely trying to put on the pressure, as well as Inception trying to score again here. We'll see what they can do.
Trying to do a sneaky score. They're gonna go for it. Oh,
Oh,
the basket goes down.
no.
Katakuri scored.
Katakuri with the score, denying Inception of a score of their own. That's some of the most clutch / unlucky play that you can ever see in Splatoon.
Definitely. The control of the baskets is very interesting in Clans, how you can just deny someone else's push just by pushing yourself. It could be like a really bad push of your own, but it can still deny the opponent's entire push. It gives your time for your team to come back and kill the opponents.
Definitely, and we see this heavy remix taking great control of the glass here, and I think that's something that a backline definitely needs to do on this map, is have control of glass. As we see Inception trying to stop the junior from bubbling in there, which they successfully do.
It's one thing, we do see bubbles on this Clams map versus other ones, and I feel like this is a map where definitely bubbles is something we should be running, because they're so important for getting in from the other side of mid.
You know, as how broken bubbles are, I believe that you can run them anywhere. I don't think there's a bad map for bubbles.
Probably not. I think the only one I could think of would be Albacore Hotel for bubbles. It's not the best. It isn't the worst either. It's just like, there's a lot of bad spots you can put it on Hotel versus other maps.
Yeah, but as we see Inception trying to make something here, they only have 30 seconds left. And, you know, anything can happen in Splatoon, so they definitely don't need that big of a push to take this game. But we'll see how Katakuri defends this.
I don't think Inception has enough clams to create a power.
Do they not have a pity? We'll have
They
to
do.
see.
They do have one now. Never mind.
They do just score, and we'll see. Unfortunately, they need to get this. They need to get this, or else I don't think the game will be going into overtime here.
Unless they can form another power off the pickpocket of their hands, I don't know where and how they're gonna score, and they do not.
And we see game one going to Katakuri.
Yeah.
You know, we saw both heavy remixes definitely trying to go glass and take control over glass, but I think Katakuri had control of the area below glass as well. They had control of mid, they had control of even the other team's basket, which just made them which just allowed them to apply constant pressure, you know.
Definitely. We do. One thing I noticed is that Storm had a lot less booyahs than the other heavy remix, and even though they got way more kills, and they just didn't use their booyah, and I feel like that was very interesting to kind of like look at on like the results screen.
Yeah, definitely. And one thing is that you have to paint the ground to get your special, and if you constantly getting map control, you're constantly getting specials, and that's something that's going to help your team push in any mode, which is why it's so important to make sure that you have map control, because if you constantly are applying pressure and getting map control, then you'll always have special, which is really good. And speaking of having map control, we're moving on to Splat Zone Sturgeon Shipyard. I think this is, I know I'm a Tent fanboy here, and I just think Tent's so good. Just shoot the shield across the zone, and you have zone.
Definitely. Zone, like, Tent is such a powerful weapon on a lot of zones maps, especially single zone maps. Like, that weapon is just almost broken on him.
Yeah, we'll see what comes out from both teams here. We see the heavy remix from both teams again.
And we do see a double splash shot again. We do see see a double junior on one team and a single junior on the other team. So we're going very paint heavy from Inception coming out here.
You know, Inception going with the K Junior, and I think the Double Junior is a very interesting pick. But again, you do have the T-Tech, which can provide you with those necessary picks that you need. As long as those juniors paint zone and spam their specials, I think this comp could work. And as you see, it is working.
Yep. We kind of could be coming out here with the initial grab of zone, and also the juniors using their specials to keep the zone as long as they can.
So I think Inception definitely needs some way to break out here. They definitely need to, again, paint the zone, get their specials. Unfortunately, we see them grab zone with the baller through the booyah, which I think was very good. But we'll see if they can keep it here and move up to not allow themselves to get locked out here.
Okay, Slasher's gonna go get the heavy, but also gonna get picked out there. See a lot of them trying to lurk on their snipe, throwing bombs onto the zone. Get rid of this heavy if they can.
Definitely, I think being bomb heavy is definitely a way to pressure your opponents back, to make sure that you always have the space from them, just to throw a bomb. You know, I think it's very simple, but a lot of people don't do it. But we see again with the retake, with the inkjet pressure here, how long can Katakuri keep this? As we see Inception applying a lot of pressure, going to use this booyah to try and secure that right side of the zone, which unfortunately it does not.
Katakuri still maintaining most control of the zone. Inception gonna take it though in the end here.
Inception with a very, very small lead here. But they do have a lot. There's 3 minutes left in this match. They do have a lot of time here, and both with pretty beefy penalties. But as we see that bubble combo coming out from the side of Katakuri, as they do take zone back here. I think the K Junior is so good for those bubble combos. It paints and it always has bubbles. And you're always getting a bubble popped in your face. I think it's a fantastic weapon. If only I knew how to bubble combo, I would just use that weapon.
Yeah, I'm bad at bubble combos myself. I didn't actually learn how bubble combos worked until like a few weeks ago, and I was like, oh, that's how they do this. When you just throw the bomb down and then you put the bubble and you throw your second bomb down. I didn't know that was that thing. I just thought they were like cheating because I could never pop a bubble with one suction bomb. I was just like, whatever.
I would stay in the training room for a while to try and do that, but my fingers just don't work like that. So I'm just gonna leave the bubble weapons alone as we see Katakuri here with the zone again with the bubbles. Gotta love bubbles.
I'm using them to apply as much pressure as they can. You see, they're gonna be marked here though by the remix.
But they are now through that hefty penalty that they had, and they are now ticking down. With a minute and a half left, we have to see Inception do something here.
Definitely. They use that baller though immediately. They're
Which
really close to capping zone. Katakuri
No,
gonna keep it for as long as they can, but Inception is gonna end up taking the zone.
So let's see how Inception move up off of this. As we do see the Slosher get one. Which is really good, and unfortunately he goes down after that to the Junior. As Inception are now through their penalty. We need to see somebody paint zone here.
The Junior working through the can. The Booyah Bomb went from the underside of zone to get a kill.
But getting a kill.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
That's definitely not where you usually see Booyahs being used from, but hey, it works. As we see the Heavy getting another pick in a very good power position here. And we see Katakuri trying to definitely secure this game, but the remix goes down here.
They still have the rank chat up. They're gonna use that to stall for as long as they can. Get as many picks as they can to protect themselves as well.
But with very few seconds and very few counts left for Katakuri to secure this, I think we need to see something from Inception.
And Inception does not grab the zone in time. The second game will go to Katakuri.
You know, I definitely think that Inception did do a lot better there. And maybe you never know. You never know. This might be another reverse sweep. We might see the reverse sweep from Inception here. But
no,
I do think...
I'm not gonna lie. Katakuri might not be very happy if you commentator curse them with that again.
Oh, okay. I'm not gonna say anything. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna. What are we moving on to now? I'm not gonna be a commentator's curse. We're gonna see tower control on the reef.
And another reef map back to back. That's kind of, it is tower this time, which is very different, obviously.
But you know, something about the reef tower that you don't get on the reef zone, which I think is what we saw last, is that the reef tower can steamroll very easily. I know a lot of teams do pick it as counter picks because they can steamroll it very easily if they get past that first checkpoint. It's very easy to score points.
Yeah, definitely. The way once you get past that first checkpoint, as soon as you get up to the left wall and the current team's right street, as soon as you get all the way up through that, you can jump to it and you can go right around and flank through the entire base, and that creates a very devastating push for the defending team. Very hard to counter it, especially if you don't realize that someone's there, even though they are.
Definitely. So jumping in to tower control, you know, I think we'll see double remix again. We'll see. We see a Swiffer. That's not something you see all the time here, but we'll see if they make it work. We see double remix again coming out. The team's relying on that Booyah Bomb to stop this tower from getting through any checkpoints. But we
Squiffer get it immediately.
We see the Squiffer putting in some work here. I just don't think that's a That's not a me pick, definitely. That's definitely not a me pick.
It's not the worst. This one is on this map. It's pretty strong if you can use it right, and there aren't that many talented Squiffer players out there. But when you get a good Squiffer player, they're like scary because they're like a frontline, but like they win most of their engagements.
But we see Katakuri definitely trying to put the pressure on again with the bubbles here. As well as a frontline Squiffer, I guess. Is that what we call this?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's frontline or it's midline, one of the two. Pretty much the same thing at this point.
But we need to see them get through this first checkpoint, as members of Katakuri are pushed quite far up here, definitely trying to secure some sort of lockout. As we were talking about that snowball earlier, let's see if they can get it rolling here.
They immediately go up this left side like I was talking about. They're going to create this push, not allow them to flank the tower and get through these two checkpoints. I think that's one thing, is that I think they may have underestimated the Squiffer just a little bit, and immediately the Squiffer got two really important kills, and that kind of changes the tide of the game. Just because you think a weapon might be bad doesn't mean it will be. You need to watch out for everybody.
You know, it is the armor Squiffer, so maybe they opted for the armor Squiffer over going double junior on tower control, which, you know, there's a lot of armor weapons out there, but I guess you do what works for you.
You have Rapid, you have Squiffer, I guess.
I mean, the end zap is right there, but it's okay. They're doing what works for them.
No, this could have been a misclick and they just didn't notice.
Imagine, and they're making it work.
I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do, right? Yeah,
but we see Inception constantly with teammates down here, and that's something that you don't want here. You definitely want to make sure that you're pushing out together, just for good defense here. If you constantly have a man down, then you won't be able to defend very well, nor will you be able to push very well.
I see Squiffer kind of putting work here to get rid of that booyah. You're not gonna be able to alone. You have to back out here. See the remix coming out in Inception. They're trying to get up as much area as they can. Try to get that booyah ready for when they need to defend with it, or when they need to go offensive with it.
I think one thing that that makes a good backline player is being able to be aggressive, as well as being able to be defensive, so that your teammates can jump to you. I think that's so good of a good backline player, is being able to assist your team and like getting splats and making pushes, but as well as knowing when to back up so that your teammates that have been splatted can jump back in, and you keep the pressure on, you keep control of mid, and just keep the ball rolling.
Definitely, we do see the Squiffer here kind of going in engagement with the sloshing machine, but the sloshing machine is going to go down. Probably what is the junior?
Now with a minute and a half left, we definitely need to see a pretty beefy push from Inception, but this is tower control, and as long as you're on the tower, the overtime can keep going. So we can see what happens here.
Definitely. We do see Inception is trying to grab as much map as they can. They're going to go for these picks here, which are very important at this stage in the game.
Definitely, and I don't think, I think Katakuri's been playing defense for most of this, just because, they felt comfortable with how it is, but we see a triple coming out. And this...
Oh, and a quad, okay.
And a quad coming out, and I don't think they want to go home just yet. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, it doesn't look like Uni is about ready to give it up yet. I think they want to take it home. Give it your all or give it nothing. Sloshing Machine is going to get the pick on the Squiffer here.
But we'll see how Inception needs to break this checkpoint. Oh, but unfortunately the Booyah comes out. But they need to get back on tower here.
They got on tower, but they need to get back on again. They need to sacrifice themselves, and then one of the players almost does. And they're gonna they have a jump going to tower, jump get there first.
Oh no.
Jump did get there first, but the opposing team of Katakuri is gonna get on tower now.
I think that was the best, that was a really good effort from them, but unfortunately I believe Katakuri is just going to play defense here, and just make sure that no one is able to get off towers. You see an Inkjet triple there. And, I didn't commentate it.
That is a way to end a match.
That is a way to end the match, but I didn't commentator's curse. They did secure the 3-0.
No,
it's okay. But yeah, I think even though Inception isn't going to be playing in the grand finals. I think they still played very well to make it this far in this tournament.
And the other part is that they do have a chance at getting into third place. There's a third versus fourth match that will be happening, even though we will not be streaming it. It will still be happening.
Top 3, bronze medal. I'll take that. I'll take that. You know.
Any day you can, right?
Exactly. But I think we're going to be going to break here as we wait for grand finals to be set up here. If we can get some grand finals hype in chat, that'll be amazing. That'll be amazing. Some pogs, anything. But yeah, I think we're gonna go take a break here.